Tomb of Annihilation. We're back. We are back in the tomb. Watch Alexandria dance into frame. Looking good. Oh, good. Yes, we have returned.
Time. I'm back.
We are back, and we are ready to dip back into the world of Chult, friends, back into Faerun, back into Port Nyanzaru. So, our episode opens on the same shot that it always does. We see the dusty tome of Annihilation sitting just so against a dungeon wall. A good level of dust caked around it, but you can see where it's been pushed away from all the many times we've opened it up before. We see all the many trinkets of our previous adventures making their way just around our sort of login screen, as I've described it before. Our book swings open those pages, and as we get closer, we can just sort of hear the gaping mouth embossed on the front of the book. Just make just that sound of just like the empty void within as we pass by into the pages. They flip past, and it starts revealing what happened to us last episode. And our first scene that we see, I think, painted beautifully in ink, as the ink sort of just splashes across the page. We see the waves of the harbor of Port Nyanzaru. I'm just realizing that I never took the harbor ward off of the TM layer. There's a harbor ward, and this is it. So we see that ink splash across and just show those waves as your ship, as Wakanga's beautiful ship rolls in. We see you parade, like it's really fast because this was the recap from last time. We see you paraded through the streets immediately, the ink sort of pouring down the armored form of Vorn. We see the party being paraded through the streets, the armored gladiatorial guards on either side. We see Wakanga as well. We see the party enter into the villa, the damage in the front of Port Nyanzaru. We see the party head into the villa itself. We get a beautiful illustration of that painting of Governor Delos, and then we match those names together in our minds. Like the next shot is immediately Asteria, and then we go into our first scene of last episode, which I will recap, which was the feast. You're in the middle of having the celebratory feast of your return, your completion of the quest of Vorn, your acquiring of magic items, your survival of Chult. In the middle of this grand feast, we watch as the ice just forms over the room, and it slowly comes to a halt as that last drop of honeymead freezes mid-air in the cold, and we see the breath of Asteria and the conversation that happens between Crowley, the demon that she summoned to do her bidding, and herself, Asteria. We see that single bladed finger across the table, and the deal that is struck her soul for the death of Jabal, the first of those she would have revenge upon, seeking to pass over Wakanga for now, for he is useful to her. What happened after that? War. Going down. What's the next page? It flips over, the ink starts to spill in. What does it illustrate?
Our meeting with Samuel Dren, I believe, was the kind of the next day after we got our letter and stuff. So we met with Samuel Dren, and there was talk of him not having much time left. So don't worry about doing things hastily.
Yeah. You got passed off a letter from him too, right?
Yeah.
His last favor,
which is to Sigil Dakbrass, which in exchange for the map we could get a boat potentially and a crew from him.
And a crew, yeah. We probably see illustrated the Sigil Jakbrass name, whoosh,
yeah,
in ink across red ink. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Okay, yeah, we turn into the next page. Asteria, Alex, what is the next scene that we recap from last time? After we left, this would pertain to you a little bit, because I believe it's Golden Throne, right? Was the next place you guys went. So yeah, ink fills the page. What's that scene like? What happened?
as we go through the ruins of my family's estate.
Oh man.
We go up to the already dead prince. He just doesn't know it yet.
He just doesn't know it yet. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Celestial's always so dramatic.
And then, like a sucker, Brolin pays him back, even though he was already dead.
He was already dead. So yeah, he got paid with a ruby. I remember that. I think we probably see that ruby illustrated on the page for sure. Yeah, I believe Jabal also showed interest in the map too, right?
He did show interest in the map as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For this 2,000 gold, I believe.
Yeah, 2,000 gold. That's right. Quite a large sum.
Yep.
To even get a copy, as long as he can get it ASAP. And he seemed a little more interested in the original and sort of you keeping the copy. But we'll see. Because I believe Asteria, you promised him that you would get that to him ASAP, right? You made that deal.
I said that I would come as soon as possible, but
as soon as
what
possible.
that means is whatever. He's probably not gonna live by the time
yeah. So the I think the smaller bits. Yeah, we saw like he offered a job to War, which War couldn't accept yet.
Well, so yeah, War asked him about jobs like when he's done with the current business. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said, "I can't do this right now," but yeah.
What was another small thing? Oh yeah, he's hosting Brolin's funeral and paying for, or not Brolin's funeral, not yet. Musharim.
He offered me a job. He offered me a job.
He offered you a job too. Yeah, waiting for a response on that.
He offered War a job as well.
Yep, two people he offered jobs. Too bad apparently he's not gonna make it, because I think our last thing we saw him cold. He was cold as he left the throne room. Very good. So we splash into that next page. It flips over. The ink fills it up. What's the next scene that illustrates itself for us, Alexandria?
I think the next page in the book is more of a montage showing Alexandria at several different points throughout the last couple days, reuniting with her friends and talking in confidence with Tifa and Losu.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah.
And leaving off with her following Valfine into an alley, with the camera view being deep in the alley, watching the two figures walking into the darkness. And as the ink washes over the scene to leave behind the silhouettes of the buildings and the people on the streets, you would see the ink washing over Alexandria, who is looking back at the streets as if watching for somebody following. But when the ink trails over her face, it drags just a little heavy over her cheeks to make it look like there's tiger striped fur.
Oh, that's so cool!
Before it catches up with the rest of the ink and washes off.
I love it. Yes, perfect. Yeah, exactly like that. These don't have to be perfectly canonical in time. I love that. I love that. That page would totally. That would be filled with ink. I love it. The next one splashes over. Page turns. Brolin, a scene from last time that's stuck in your mind.
Calming the giant Triceratops.
Yeah, that's right. Meeting the Dock Warden. I believe his name is Zindar. Yeah, Dockmaster. Describe to me that scene again, because Brolin, you had a big part in that.
I imagine War stepping up and slowing the beast down, and Roland taking a good berry in his hand and gently having the Triceratops take it out of his hand, calming down.
Okay, yeah, no, I love that. Very cool. All right, so the page flips again to our last recap scene. Valfine, whatever scene you want to bring back to the forefront, something that happened last time that you think would have been a highlight from last episode.
See Valfine wandering down the road, and then with the twinge of pain, ink splashes on the page, and a single drop runs to the right into the alleyway. Following the thread, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, following the thread. I think that's awesome. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'll end with I'll actually end with two more recap scenes just to get us exactly where we are for our other parties, because we know exactly where Valfine and Alexandria are. I think we get a scene that illustrates itself of the public bathhouse of Brolin in war meeting Brolin's estranged relatives. That would be, let me get their names out here so I never forget.
Strange, more like fucking strange.
Aunt Paleshatter, Uncle Boris, and his weird son Jimmy. We get probably a second illustration to that of the interior of the public bathhouse, how all the pools are filled with icy water, Musharrif's favorite, and at the very center, the sort of shrubbery that was there has been removed, and there's a pyre, which Musharrif is set atop, and he is in his best clothes. He has all kinds of flowers and different kind of like bathing herbs, like anybody left behind, some sort of memory of Musharrif is on the pyre with him, and he is sitting at the top, arms crossed, coins on his eyes, and people are just taking off their clothes and entering into the water to honor their lost friend, brother, nephew, whatever relation they had with Musharrif. There's also a lot of dwarves here, a lot of I forget what they're called. What's the race of white dwarves? Albino dwarves. Yeah, plenty of albino dwarves, and some not, that are lined up. We see them. I think we see also another scene. Our last one, we see Asteria break off from the group, enter into the Grand Colosseum, and we see that whole scene of the fighting prince, whose name, there are so many princes, but I will grab it. Akin Afa. We watch his two princes are spotted by Asteria. Akin Afa, a gladiatorial fighter, and an apparent prince of weapons, shields, traveling gear, rain catchers, saddles, wagons, and canoes. Fight off two grizzly bears and cut them down, these exotic creatures, to Chult. And we also see who's judging the match, which is another prince of Port Nine-Zar, another female, Zathini. We probably hear the words of somebody nearby as Syria looks for information that Zathini has connections with the oh gosh, what's their name? I just have to find it here. Oh, the Tepka Society. And then we see Asteria break off and head toward Tariki Anchorage as the area starts to get a little bit dirtier, a little bit shadier. Maybe a hood pops up, and that puts everybody pretty much where they were last time we played, guys. Welcome back in. So, there are three separate scenes happening here. We have Warren Brolin in the public bathhouse. We have Alexandria and Valfine in the alleys following a string. And we have Asteria heading toward Tarinki Anchorage. I would like one member of each party. Asteria, this will be easy for you because you're alone. One member of each party to roll initiative and see where these scenes are going to lay.
I mean, when you put it like that, you're just trivializing it.
Roland, you do it.
You got this, Valfine.
Following that string.
Oh, that's
Unless you want to lose. I can roll if you want to lose.
No. I'll take my dex modifier. Where is it? Initiative.
Where's my market word?
Watch it be worse than Alex's.
I don't think you can roll worse than mine.
Can't roll. We're in the not one.
Brolin, I believe War is asking you to roll initiative for him.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's your event.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm just along for the ride here.
Very true.
Well, you could be talking to somebody.
All right. Dang. Okay. So we are.
I win with a mediocre natural 11.
And every time there's a scene point, we're going to move as we naturally do. So we see Alexandria and Valfine start to make their way. This music's far too cheery.
Well, it could have been appropriate.
Let's do the intro music.
String.
The intro music is like, ooh, mystery, which I very much like. So we start to Valfine and Alexandria. We stopped. We paused right at the moment when Valfine, you felt that tug and saw this just line of light shimmer and shing, and just sort of rush its way down into a dark alley. I think that's where we paused on you. I did ask what you were going to do in the moment. You already told me, but that was off stream. So tell me what happens here.
Was it a painful?
It was like a
feeling?
pinprick.
A pinprick. Velphine will immediately stop walking and
I
turn
bump
her
into her.
attention.
Boom. Yeah.
Because I was looking back at the street, so I was not.
What is this,
not
Scooby Doo?
Jinkies.
Zoinks! She's going to like laser focus on the alley, especially since there hasn't been anything like that that's kind of piqued her interest in quite some time. Can I peer down the alleyway and see if I notice anything?
Yeah, it's entirely dark down that alleyway. I mean, it is the pathway between the wall of Mount Sabasa and the buildings that cling to its side. So the wall itself is very tall, and the buildings are tall as well, to have enough sort of sturdy place where they are along this hill. So the walls are very tall, and the sun is sort of hitting it in the side. So like the sun's coming, it doesn't make its way down into the alley. So it's fairly dark. Not like pitch black, but dark. It's a dark alleyway for being daytime. Like it's afternoon.
Can Velphine hear or smell anything?
No. But if you look long enough, you will see the string again. It's just a shimmer of light that points its way down the alleyway. And you probably feel the pinprick as well.
She's going to briskly start walking in that direction.
During that brief moment, did Alexandria say anything? Or just stay silent?
So, Jinkies.
Jinkies.
Or the equivalent of it. Now she's curious, like, so where are we going? She'll pick up the pace a little bit, trying to.
You can see the roof of the bathhouse not far away.
You know what? I don't care where we're going. I'm with you.
Anything
for about another 5 hours.
I saw something. I'm not sure what it is, actually.
I was about to say that's delightfully vague.
If I knew what it was, I would have told you. So yes, continuing on in that direction.
All
Shuffle,
right.
shuffle.
We see you follow, and you follow the rim of the rimmed edge of the tall walls of the Hall of Gold. That's around the Hall of Gold. You make your way all the way across this alley, and a couple times you see that shimmer again. It's almost as if the string is so close to the wall that it's being pulled taut against it. But as you round the corner, you make your way constantly trying to like look, but it's always on that curve where you can't quite see what's on the other side, and you're just getting information in a slow, steady stream as you walk. Perhaps your pace even picks itself up. And you make your way all the way to what is perceived to be the end of this alleyway. And there's a stairway that leads down towards what you can assume to be the dye works, because you can actually see some splashes of dye on the stone, on the actual stone stairs right over here, Alexandria, at your back. But you see that the path continues further down forward to a part of the alley that just seems a little darker than the rest. And you peer, your elven eyes, your dark vision, and you can see the silhouette of a door hanging on a building that seems to be just leaning as far into the wall of the Hall of Gold as possible. And it just seems like the run-of-the-mill kind of shack. But as you're staring at it, you can no longer see the string. You can see that for a faint green light comes through the cracks of that door.
Can I...
There also seems to be something on the door, but you'd have to step into this dark part of the alley to actually view that.
Can I roll an Arcana check before we get any closer?
Yeah, go for it.
Just to determine if I know what that is. Let's do that.
Do things normally just glow green?
Not generally.
14. Let me see here.
Is it a trap?
Okay. What are you? What is it that you're exactly focusing this Arcana check upon?
The nature of the string coupled with some weird shiny shit coming out of the door. Do I know anything?
The shiny shit out of the door can be anything. This string, I think like you're feels like it like probably holds similar magic to that of like a message spell, like a summoning.
Okay.
Something meant to draw an individual to a place.
Can I determine the source?
Oh, of where? You don't see the string anymore, but you know that it continued down the dark alleyway, which you know is a dead end. It leads to only one place: this door.
Anybody else feel like this is a dollar bill on a fish hook kind of situation?
This episode is how we all became pirates.
This is how I get everybody.
You almost had it.
I get all
I'll be
y'all.
quicker than that.
There's a chihuahua around the corner. I think I need a bigger box.
It's like a bad insurance commercial.
Oh god! Oh my god! You nerds.
Chihuahua with demon eyes? Is that what?
So
Sure.
you can because I will pick a point for us to move a scene. If you don't feel like you can make a decision right now, you can just say, move on to somebody else. Don't pick up, or you can go.
I'm going to cautiously move toward that door.
All right, Alexandria Valfine dips into the darkness. You still right behind her?
Now less out of curiosity and more to just make sure she doesn't kill herself
All right.
again.
You step up towards the door, and this alleyway hasn't been in the sun very long, and even though it's hot in Chult, it's probably a cool 80 degrees in this alleyway, and you feel it dip about 5 degrees cooler than when you get in this really dark portion of the alleyway. Probably, it feels almost like nighttime at Chult. But as you step closer to this building, you immediately feel warmth come from it. Like a heat pulsing from within, and you can still see the green of the cracks, and it kind of like the light like brightens and then dims. And you can also probably get a scent of something cooking, something smoking within. You're not sure. You can probably see a little bit of steam coming off of the door, but as you approach close to it, you can spot what is on the door itself. There is a single illustration of an eye, a yellow eye with a single black long pupil in the center, like a sliver, and across the top, written in common, and then first Chultan and then common just below it, the cat's eye.
What's it say?
What's the cat's eye?
Is that significant?
I don't know. You're the one that's been running around with cats.
Why is that related? They're tigers, not cats. Does it look like a tiger's eye?
It's just yellow with a black slit pupil, right?
Yep.
Are there any discerning features?
Nope. I mean, it looks like it was probably painted on here at one point, and some of the paint has like dried off from the moisture.
This smells like the Dark Brotherhood with like just the handprint and blood kind of thing.
If the door starts whispering, run.
It gives the feeling of like a storefront,
Storefront. Okay.
just
okay.
like sort of sagging to the side. There are no there are windows, but they're up higher. None in this lower level.
Okay.
As I cautiously continue forward, can I check for traps?
Yeah, on the door and stuff. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Yes.
Check for traps, Pookie.
Nice. No traps. Seems like a door that would be inviting enough to a customer.
What you guys didn't realize is that the writing above the door says, "Trespassers will be shot."
Just upon opening, kerpow! No, 19 doesn't reveal that the door is in any way going to harm you.
Survivors will be shot again. I think knowing that there aren't any traps, she would move forward and gently listen at the door, I guess, and then lightly knock.
Yeah. You hear what sounds like... Make a perception... Oh, wait, you already made a perception, 19. I'll hold on to that. Well, you were looking for traps. But give me another one.
No, okay.
Give me another one. This is completely different.
Sorry, guys. I'm proficient in this. I'm good. I got it. I got this.
Oh, let's see. 17. Nice. Yeah, you listen at the door, and you hear what sounds like bubbling coming from inside. Like a pot that's boiling.
Any voices?
No.
Footsteps shuffling.
No.
We're getting
How long?
the soup ready.
How long are you sitting there?
Okay, you're kind of freaking me out. What are we doing?
Shh, hang on. Only just for maybe 10, 15 seconds. Just listen for movement.
Oh,
or
a whole
anything.
15 seconds?
Before I knock, yes.
All right. You go to knock, and before you can even knock, you hear a voice come from the door. Come in.
Okay. She's gonna kind of stand up straight, like, well, that's good enough for me, and gently push the door inward.
All right. As you push the door open, you are immediately hit with an aroma of something brewing.
Oh, this is an entirely different direction than I thought we
Come
were
on,
going.
man. I am so squishy. Don't do me like
A
that.
thick, sort of almost green, it would be colored green, a smell hits you of a level of a mixture of spices. You're not sure whether it is palatable or not, but it does have, like, it has almost more of the scent of perfume rather than anything, but it almost smells like something you would eat, but at the same time more of a scent somebody would wear. And as the door opens, a green light also fills just sort of pierces its way into the darkness of the alley, and you can see stepping in that immediately there on either side of the green lit interior are these sort of rickety wooden shelves, and upon them are all kinds of different concoctions and bottled things and all kinds of different trinkets and little itty bitty bits and baubles. And it seems as though you'd have to walk through this sort of flanking on either side of these shelves to step in. And you did say you were making your way inside. So as you step in, you can immediately feel the floorboards creak and those shelves begin to shudder a little bit. You can hear the glass rattle like next to each other as you get close to either side, kind of worried about either side possibly tipping, but they hold true. You can spot past the shelf a figure, but you don't get a good look at the individual until you make your way past. You can see them through, I think, like the different bottles and different things, and you get, like, our camera gets little bits and pieces, but we can't quite make out the frame, and just says, "Ah, yes, customers. It has been a long time before anyone has used the back door. You must have something important you need. Come." And you continue stepping past until we finally get all the way past that that shelf that's sort of blocking the way, going through the different baubles that are sort of disforming his figure, and we get a clear image. We see behind a sort of long workbench that at its center is built into it what looks to be a steaming cauldron of some sort. And atop the workbench are many different kind of herbs, but then on the other side looks to be some sort of different like metals and like clays and other things, just sort of spread across this thing. We see a number of different kind of tools as well, and we look up and we see a tabaxi. A cat-like humanoid creature, who I won't detail just yet. I want to give you two a chance to build who this person is and what they look like and what you think they would look like stepping into here. And I'm going to give you guys full creative control as to what this individual looks like a little bit. And then I might add on a tinge of flavor after. So whichever of you thinks you have something first of some details you want to give this person.
I think Alexandria is the expert in cat-like creatures.
All right, I got this. Okay. First thing that's apparent about this person is their clothing.
Okay.
She's wearing what could best be described as a witch's robe. Has a very
Great.
long, deep V cut in it that shows off a shit ton of cleavage, which there is in fact a shit ton of because those tits are laying over that desk. They have to be at least double J cups.
Is she a bigger set woman?
No, she's got Barbie doll figure, but the tits are just exploded outwards. Probably, honestly, a brewing malfunction. You can tell something went wrong recently because the cauldron has been tipped over. There's water or some kind of potion everywhere. It's terrible, really, and looks like it was a horrible accident.
Tragedy.
Her figure is a nightmare to behold, really. Maybe she's got 2 minutes before she passes out due to blood loss. Just having to pump all that blood through all that extra tissue, it's not good.
Rule of Annihilation.
We have to apply pressure to the new tissue so that the blood stays back in the core organs. So naturally, what I do is I
never
rush.
give Kyle creative license is what I'm learning.
So,
I rush the witch.
Is this what Crescent Chronicles is like?
Nope.
No.
Well,
Full
I mean,
creative freedom.
the bachelor party episode was a little bit like that.
So, Kyle, my dear friend,
Anyone want to rein this in?
how would you like to redact what you said and give me something a little bit more fun? Unless you're not interested.
Gentlemen, this is a family-friendly D&D stream. I'm gonna need you to dial that down a little.
Well, I mean, yeah, I won't say anymore. Let's see here. I mean, it was a tragic accident. It's unfortunate for all parties involved. If only we could have avoided it. So I would say, rolling back to being serious.
To base,
now.
yeah. Though this was quite the character that we were building.
Oh, help me, adventure. Okay, anyways. She's clearly a back alley sort, so I imagine she's wearing very unassuming garb. A tabaxi, so probably something a little form-fitting, but nothing terribly revealing at all. And I would imagine she has a strange mottled fur pattern that, like a tabby cat pattern.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
that's really...
I'll leave it that far so that Valfine here can come in and describe some for other features.
Yeah, Valfine, what do you? That's a really good base.
I think back alley kind of lends to the general look. Hood down, halfway over the side of the face. I think you'd probably see some jewelry, some elaborate facial jewelry, from one ear down to maybe either one of the lips or a ring in the nose.
Ooh, yeah, I like
and
that.
the one side of the head that isn't covered by the hood, there would be her ear would be poking out up the top,
Oh,
but there would be a bite, like a chunk out of it.
Oh, that's great.
So kind of a scraggly tabby cat with some
Yeah.
some interesting choice of facial piercing.
Excellent. I will add 2 other, or maybe 3 other small details. She is missing her pinky and ring finger on both hands. So where they once were, they are no longer. You can see stubs left over. The rings she has left are beautifully adorned, I think, in all kinds of, some like actual metallic rings and some, I think, more organic. And you can see that they are quite well adorned. And another thing, and I'm going to add a little more jewelry to her. She has a necklace that is quite noticeable because she wears it out and proud. At the end of the necklace is what looks to be a sort of metal intricate container for an eye, a literal, like, you can see the sort of glazed over sort of wetness of a literal eye, and it moves around the eye and looks at you both as you step in. And she will say, "Welcome to the cat's eye. I am Bhakti. Let me guess. Something called you here. You are in need of something."
Yeah, normally I'm pretty good at finding things.
But it seems as though Bhakti has found you.
Was that your thread?
She smiles, and we see a little bit of her teeth. They're completely yellowed over, some of them like blackened at the root. And she will say, "Some see a thread, others see birds, mice, footsteps. I do not choose what the door uses." She points over at the door. She says, "But it seems to know when someone is looking for something it needs, and they come to me." So, my child, do tell. What can Bhakti do for you? And it's at this point something hops out of the, you see like a frog or something, like a living or like amphibian creature like pop out of the no, we see a turtle pop out, and she immediately it pops out of the cauldron, makes its way onto the table and starts moving across, leaving, and you can see steam coming off of it, and it leaves just sort of a slime trail behind it. And she immediately grabs a cleaver and just chops the thing in half, just poof, and it's just dead. And she'll just go, "I like my food fresh," and she'll take out the cleaver and just scoop the rest of the turtle into the bowl.
Charming.
It's at this point that I think we can move our camera over down to our next set of adventurers. Our music will change slightly here as we enter into, I don't know if I have actual music for the bathhouse, do I? Don't think I do. I think I just have legit music for this ward, which will work. Yeah, we'll do the market ward. So, War and Brolin, you are, when we last left off with you guys, you had entered into the public bathhouse, and Brolin, you feasted your eyes, well, not feasted, that's not the right word, you rested your eyes upon your brother for the first time since the last time you saw him, when he gave you orders to follow Iku and that band of strangers and make sure that she is well protected, and that if they're searching for something for the Death Curse, to bring back whatever information you can for him. And that's the last time you spoke to him, and now you see him at the here at the top of his funeral pyre. Let's actually change this music around just a little bit. I don't want to go full sad, or maybe I should. What's full sad?
I mean, considering the company, you might as well go full sad.
It's a little
You're
too.
not wrong.
It's a little too sad. Is there something that's just a little
Is
less?
it possible to be too sad at a
It's just-
funeral?
I mean, this is more of a celebration of Musharib rather than like dwarven funerals aren't like boo hoo. It's more like this person lived and they were great at living.
No, that's fair.
Ambience, crowd small. Let's see here. Would a tavern crowd make sense here? No,
Yeah, probably.
probably.
Considering the amount of drinking.
Yeah. I think we can leave that up. So, yep, we can see the voices of people echo off the top of the tall glass ceilings of the public bathhouse. You can see the sunny sky above as it shines down beautifully through the glass upon Musharib's resting place. Brolin and War, you see other people around you taking their clothes off. You can see that, I believe, let me get my notes up here so I know these names. You can see Uncle Boris is slowly sort of taking his shirt off. It's like, it's tradition, come on. We have to, well, it's not tradition exactly. It's more or less, this is the way Musharib wanted it, okay? Let's all get naked. and Jimmy's already got his clothes off and he's into the water. And he'll just say, no running, Jimmy! He says, brother! He goes splash right into the icy water. And you see Boris go over and he's like, Eddie Pale Shadow. What? Huh? It's just, you want in the water. It says, oh, I didn't bring my swimming trunks. And she says, you don't need them. She goes, oh, Boris, growth. It's just like, Eddie Pale Shadow. This is the funeral. You're supposed to take. She's like, oh, I'll sit over here. She says,
Thank you. Bro, Musharib had his goddamn pants on the entire time he was in there. He wasn't naked. I don't know where this is coming from.
And then Boris will just go to Annie Pale Shatter and then to you, and he says, when in Rome, what's Rome? And he goes into the water. Oh, it's cold! Oh, no one told me it was cold!
He wore pants.
Warren Brolin, what are you guys doing? The funeral seems to be kind of like an all-day thing. People dip into the water, pay their respects to Musharib. You cannot get to the pyre without going through the water, so people are bringing things into the water to put on the pyre and say their prayers. They've kind of like blocked off the pathways so that you do have to sort of rite of passage, enter into the icy water, experience what Musharib loved most, and then place upon his pyre something to remember, for him to remember you by in the afterlife, or something of that type of item. But yeah, what are you guys doing?
War's probably putting all his things in a cubby or whatever.
Yeah, they have these cubbies in the walls.
He's putting it like as high as possible.
Yeah, you're just like looking, and you can see. I think it's obvious that all the lower cubbies are just packed. I mean, there's none of the higher cubbies. There's like one or two, and you're just like, I'm gonna take this one up top.
Yeah.
Make sure my stuff is safe. Brolin, you can't find a single place to put your stuff if you wanted to.
Roland's not gonna take his clothes off.
So yeah, we see War place stuff in the cubby, and you are going in.
Yep.
All right.
In there, you said on the outside there was like a shell that was doing the donations like the bathhouse usually does, but he'll probably throw a silver in there.
Oh, okay, yeah. You put a silver in the donation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely still like out and available, absolutely. And yeah. Go ahead. You're gonna say something?
I said, thanks for doing this with me, War. This is pretty awkward. Me and my brother weren't on the best of terms.
Well, I did meet you briefly. Ironically here.
Yeah, this is where he spent all his time. Thought the water would heal him.
Well, hopefully it was at least restful.
Yeah. Yes. Alright, let's just get this over with. Oh, I hate these things. Always wanting to meet here. Always wanting to.
It's in this moment you hear a voice come from behind you, Brolin. Brolin, is that you?
Who's that? Who are you?
You turn and you see an albino dwarf who definitely has the same age as Anti-Pale Shatter, but probably a little more of his memory still there. Somebody you recall, one of the very good friends of your father, who perished in Harakmar. Somebody who you tell me how much experience you've had with this individual. His name is Adric. And he's probably one of the oldest members of your clan. Him and Anti-Pale Shatter are pretty close in sort of the race of who is oldest. And there's probably even like oh, who's older? And everyone's like, it doesn't matter. Adric is Adric's the only one you can talk to, so you can't get Anti-Pale Shatter's opinion on that. So who cares?
I want to imagine if there ever was anyone to take control of the clan, it would be him.
It would be, absolutely. And I think he sees like a lot of different people, and a lot of people are like around him and stuff, because that might almost be expected of him, because like no one has as of yet, and there isn't really a clan to take control of now. But if there was a king to sit upon the throne, a lot of people would think it would be him, just because the lineage is all gone, and he's just probably the oldest, wisest dwarf, and was probably one of the only people who was like an actual like he spent at least half of his lifetime in Harakmar, so like he out of everybody has more right to like that place. Yeah, he spots you amongst a crowd of people, like just like paying their respects to him immediately, and he's almost got sort of a godfather status, I think, is what we see with Godfather Adric, which is he is your godfather. I think he was. Yeah. I think he is quite literally a godfather. He just goes, Brolin. And I didn't think you'd be here. And he steps up to you. Come give your godfather a hug.
I give him a hug. Uncle Eldrick and say, it's good to see you.
I'm sorry we had to meet in such times. And
thought you were in Waterdeep.
I am, or was. I heard of Mushrib's passing and of course had to come. I am glad to see that at least one of the sons of Fireforge still live. And he's like, I'm sorry about your brother, about his state. Heard it was a curse that took him. Strong as an ox, he was iron skin. Really? Survived the jungles better than most, actually. Led some of the furthest expeditions to Harakmar, if my memory suits me right. Never did get it back. Wanted it, though. Had a soul for that place.
Yeah, and took about half our clan down trying to get it back.
He starts taking off his shirt, and he's like, Come, are you going to honor your brother with me?
Oh, I'll keep my clothes on.
And he says, oh, don't be a baby, Brolin.
Shrib kept his clothes on in there.
He says, then keep your pants on and enter the pool. I don't give a damn. But get in the pool. Honor your brother. There are people watching.
Yo.
Here I go.
I
don't like this.
What Alexander's about to say. What's up, Kyle?
It does raise some questions. Why Brolin is so reserved about being naked, considering half of his time is spent as naked animals.
That's true.
Strange complex.
Like after this, I'm half expecting the next time he goes into raptor form, he like refuses to show certain angles to people.
No, it's honestly the cold.
He'll have raptor pants.
Brolin hates the cold. Brolin hates being cold.
Oh yeah, you step in, it's freezing.
There is definitely I like to think when it came between him and his brother, it was almost a reverse dynamic. His blood ran hot.
Okay.
He doesn't like.
Yeah, it's
he
not.
doesn't like
it's not comfortable. Yeah, as elder or grandfather Adric enters into the pool, he gets a lot of people come up to him. Oh, Adric, oh, and they say something just like, "Listen, we're having a lot of trouble," and blah blah. He's like, don't worry. I'll send help for you." And then he just sort of like, he's like, people are coming up to him with like immediately just like, "Adric, oh please, can we talk after? My sister, she's getting married. I want your blessing." And he says, yeah. And he's making his way into the pool.
You're quite popular.
It seemed being the eldest, and then he looks over at Annie Pale Shatter, who's still up in. She's at the edge of the pool, like dipping her toes in, and she's like in her little chair. And she's like, "Oh, it's cold." She says, "When the other eldest has lost her damn mind, it seems everybody else turns to you. So." He's like, "Listen, half the time I think she's faking it just to get out of all this responsibility."
No doubt it.
Oh.
Oh, watch. Imagine I bump into somebody. Watch it, I'm moving.
You bump into War.
Oh, sorry.
You know this
It's
big
actually
one?
hard to notice it. Yeah, this is my turtle friend, War. Turtle, War.
He looks, he
This
says,
is my
God.
This is my godfather, Uncle Eldrick.
Good to meet you. War it is?
Yeah.
Puts out a hand. It's been some time since I've seen turtles. Some time indeed. Tell me, where do you hail? Do you come from a clan, a tribe?
Not one that I know the history of. I know... The only one I knew was my mother, so I can't say if it's and at any point.
Good at least that you knew your mother. Good to know someone of... Well, it's lucky, I imagine. I thought your race entirely extinct. You know, in Harakma, during my days as younger, I must have been, 200? Maybe 230? Those were the days. He says, we traded and knew of a tribe of turtles far, far south from here, on an island. I was quite fond of your people. Truly, I didn't think I'd ever see one again. Not after everything that happened.
An island to the south.
Yes.
That might be where I came from.
Is it? I don't quite remember its name. I am old. It says, yeah, I remember them fondly, but what happened to them was a travesty, really. Harakma suffered a similar fate, but many places in the south were destroyed during that time. It's a long story, old as I am. And he says, I imagine if you did come from there, and must be pretty far back in line. Somewhat, at least, I imagine.
Do you have the map for?
I don't.
Oh,
The city
shit.
does.
I was gonna say, just make a point at it.
Up to one of you guys, just in case.
We'll find out exactly where.
Or I'll say, perhaps a story for another time. I'd be happy to hear it, but we should attend to the task at hand.
Well, I'm only in town for tonight, so if you're interested in hearing a tale from me, I'll be staying at the Thundering Lizard. Seems to be the only blasted place in this shell of a city. And my nephews decided to live, well, a little bit more than that. Him too, and he points over at Boris. And he's got Jimmy, who's like drowning. He's like, Jimmy, swim! Use your legs, Jimmy! It's like, Hallelujah! And he's just drowning. Just like, and he looks over to Brolin, he's like, you're lucky you came out right.
Suspicions of dwarven inbreeding rising.
Oh no.
And he says, I'll be staying in the Thundering Lizard until tomorrow. If you're interested in hearing more of the tale, I wouldn't mind swapping stories with a turtle. There was one I spoke to a long time ago. Old. Oh, older than me. Oh, he's probably dead. Anyway, this is... No, I think that would bring back good memories for me. Anyway, thanks for coming and honoring my nephew. He says, Brolin, come on. He's like, he's got like you and Toad, like, make sure, like, he's got the parental, like, he's like making sure that you honor your brother and do what you're supposed to do at his funeral. And, pun intended, very nice. And he, excuse me, he'll pull you forward, and as he pulls you forward, you get right to the edge of the pyre, and he looks up and puts a hand on the pyre, and a tear comes down his face, and he just says, Rockmore will find you again, Mushrib. Rockmore will find you again, brother. Nephew, brother, doesn't matter. And he says, and then he takes off one of his stone rings, and you can see it has the symbol of Harakmar on it, which is, what is the symbol of Harakmar, Brolin? Dustin? Dustin!
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, my mic got shut off for some reason.
No, you're good.
I've been talking this entire time.
Oh yeah, sorry. So sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah,
no
I
objections to being
didn't. Oh, that's so cool. I imagine it's a forge. It's a symbol of a well.
Yeah, like a fire.
Or fire. It's a symbol of fire.
Yeah, with like is it like a gauntlet? Or oh wait, no, that looks a little too much like the
Flaming fist.
like the flaming fist. What is?
Anvil.
Yeah, or an anvil. Ooh, a flaming anvil.
Yeah, flaming anvil.
He takes it off, and you can tell like it's definitely something that was probably made in Harakmar, and he places it upon the pyre. Well, first he has his hand and he crumbles it in his hand and lets the bits of stone fall into the pyre, and he just and he's got a couple more rings on, and he just says, "Someday, I'm sure I'll take off these other ones." And he looks over to you, Brolin, and he says, "What do you have to give to your brother?"
I don't have much on me.
Well, sure you have something.
I do.
He's got a big scar, I think, going across like one side of his face. It's completely dug into his eye, but the eye is still functional somehow.
Okay. I imagine. So Brolin, he's a dwarf. He's got a beard.
Yeah.
And I imagine he, I imagine he's probably got like gold or brass little links in his beard.
Ooh, yeah.
And I imagine there's probably one, or maybe something like he first like melted like the first gold piece he made at the arena.
Ooh, shit! Your first gold piece you made? Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, deep in his beard. He's got to dig for a minute. And he yanks it out.
Can Musharib have been the one who first suggested that you go to the arena?
Yeah. I imagine, like, how about you go to the arena then? Like, Grump, don't do it.
Oh, that's so great, sir. Set you on your path, and yeah, we see you place that ring, that piece of gold upon the pyre, and we'll probably definitely Adric would Godfather Adric would probably ask the significance.
See, melted down from the first gold piece I won from the arena.
And he says, good, Brolin. Good to know. Go ahead.
I put my hand on Mushrib's his arm, or whatever. Kind of feel the lifelessness of his body, or whatever.
Yeah, it's completely still. At this point, sort of the stillness is set in.
It's as messed up as Samuel Dren's.
Yeah, you can see that parts of the flesh, they actually took some of the dye, the paints from the dye works, to try to paint some of his flesh white to make it look good, but you can see that like there are little chips in it that are just barely visible.
Shouldn't have voted for that open casket.
Of his flesh. Yeah, they tried their best to like make him look presentable, but so people could tell there's paint on him, but it's covering up anything too grotesque.
He gives a look of he's conflicted. At one point, feels his brother. Definitely feels a loss, and definitely feels conflicted. This man was kind of you continued to mess everything. You weren't very close, but I'm sorry to see you go. Kind of feeling. He turns to Eldrick. He's like, Eldrick, Uncle.
Yes.
I got a question for you.
What is it? I'm very busy. He's got all these people lining. There's a line behind him.
Listen, does the name Ash mean anything to you?
Ash. Where have you heard that name before?
Don't know if you knew I had this, but it was my mother's. It's hooked on at his side. It's the dwarven bowl.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
He looks at it, turns it over. You got this from your mother. Supposed to stay with your father, but I imagined he gave it to her. Hands it over to you. He says, Ash is a friend. Old friend. Don't even know if she's alive.
Yeah. What are we talking, another dwarf?
No. An ally. Someone who sheltered us in a time we needed.
Huh.
This is why are you interested?
I'm not sure if we can do this here, but does he know I'm a druid? Does he know that I'm a druid? Have I met him enough times for him to know?
You think that there is some heritage there. Your mother also held druidic powers, so I think it wouldn't shock him.
Alright, how do I say this? Without sounding completely crazy. This bowl taught me how to be a druid.
Looks at it and he says,
It shows me things.
Should be careful. If it talks to you, he kind of pulls you aside a little bit. You hear something within.
No, I see things. It's like I'm in a maze.
Roland, magic's what got us into what we are now. You must be careful. That gift was meant for your father. He wasn't supposed to hold it for as long as he did, but he did. I don't know what's in there, but I know the one that made it.
Oh.
And he ponders for a moment whether or not to tell you. If I tell you, what will you do?
Might go ask him a question or two.
He says, well, I can't stop you from doing what you want, but I can warn you. This person brought ruin to us.
What?
Roland. We thought them once an ally, and they turned enemy. Are you sure you wish to know?
Yeah, of course. I don't understand. Things only help me.
So as he's about to tell you, he's about to say, like, maybe we should get out of here. And you turn, and immediately we see... War, where are you right now?
War's probably standing close to where he met Musharib on the outside near one of the areas over there, kind of letting Brolin and his
Okay.
family do the thing. But...
Okay, cool. Yeah, you see a couple dwarf heads turn near you, enough for you to turn and look, and we see the rest of the room turn as the procession of Prince Jabal makes his way into the public bathhouse, and everybody looks over in his direction. And he immediately looks over at the pyre. You can see that he's visibly looks a little pale, and he's shaking. He's shivering just a little bit, and he has like heavier clothes on. He's got like a cloak, and you can hear him say, "Ah, I have arrived just in time." And he says, "I am glad you all have come here today to honor a great dwarf and a dear friend of mine. This funeral has my blessing as well as my coin." And he says, "I will join you." And he has his servants next to him, Azul, his consort, right by his side as well. I believe that's their name. I always forget. The bald-headed individual, and he steps in, and as he steps in, sort of interrupts the scene between you and your grandfather. Our view changes. Our camera shifts over to an entirely different part of the city, focusing over on Asteria, who's been waiting quite a while, I imagine. I'm sorry you rolled that 3. Let's get that music going for Tariki Anchorage. Very cool. Here we go. Get that up a little bit. Cool. So, Asteria, you have just left the Grand Coliseum, heading towards what is known as Tariki Gate. What would you like to do? What are you doing?
I am going out of the gate because I am looking for, actually, for the first Flaming Fist person I see.
Okay. The first member of the Flaming Fist that you can spot is probably at the gate itself. The gate, it's not on this side of the gate. When you pass this side, you see the standard paid Zentarum mercenaries of the port, and they don't hassle you at all as you step through Tariki Gate. But as you get to the other side, you are immediately halted by members of the Flaming Fist, and they stop you. And go through all of like the regular questions of asking like what your business is in Tariki Anchorage, your name, how long you're gonna be there, like the whole thing, and they're gonna give you like a written card, like a thing, like you're being monitored if you come into this area, and we have your name and everything. What would you like to do when you approach that kind of security?
Oh, I'm completely okay with approaching this kind of security.
Yeah.
But I guess I put on my...
They're
I want
armored.
to speak to your manager face.
Okay, yeah. You want to speak to your manager face. They make a persuasion check. Ooh.
Maybe I speak to their manager in a hurry.
they look at you. They look at you and each other, and they laugh. These two sort of armored sergeants, and they look at you and they immediately stamp this card with this like imprint of the Flaming Fist on it, like a punch out, and they hand it to you. And one of the guards says, "Just make sure you're back before sundown, else we'll drag you back into the city. Or we'll put you in chains, and you'll be sitting out with the animals. And no, I ain't taking you to my superior. Good luck with whatever your business is in Tariki Anchorage." Let me see. He looks at this card and he's just, what does it say? What's your business?
I'm being snarky, I guess, so...
Beans. No. Take this card and get in there. Yeah, you're sort of like shoved through the gate let known well that you are being watched, and you do see that many of the buildings have the banner of the Flaming Fist draped upon them. You see multiple members of the Flaming Fist making their way through, some armored, some looking a little more casual, the straps taken off, and they're only wearing the bottom half of their armor. You can tell they're sort of off-duty. You can see there are on-duty officers, but the Flaming Fist is pretty much everywhere, taking a large part of this place. You see many of these buildings have just been completely acquisitioned by them to hold the army itself, and you can see that the area just outside of Tariki Anchorage is just tense. It's just tense and tense and tense. This place is housing an army, the many ghettos. But as you step through, you can see some Chultans sort of making their way. Some of them even getting harassed a little bit by probably easily to see, just sort of harassed and catcalled by members of the Flaming Fist who are off duty, getting drunk on whatever kind of ale or rations that they have. And you can see obviously others in more of a, like I described before, others in more of a they're on duty. But yeah, what is your goal here in Tariki Anchorage? What is it that you want to do?
My goal is to find, I guess, 6 of the coins.
Ooh.
Probably 7 if I can.
Oh boy. Oh, nice. So you are searching for those coins. So we are actually, looking around for something on the actual black market. First and foremost, give me a investigation check, and you can take advantage on it, which I'm fine with. Or wait, no, have it be normal. It would normally be advantage. Because you look like somebody who could pay, but because of the Flaming Fist's activity here, the kind of market you're looking for, you can assume has been stifled to some degree. Dang, 20 investigation. I think, we see a scene of you. What's up?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Excellent.
Do you have a hood up situation? What's Asteria look like right now?
Asteria is dressed entirely too nice for this part of town.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Entirely too nice. The hood isn't even up. You just have nice hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we see an individual, not a member of the Flaming Fist, but probably some older gentleman, probably trying to just play a game of Three Dragon Ante with another individual just outside on like a small little table outside of a bar that's just filled to the brim with members of the Flaming Fist. They can't even go in there, so they're just playing a game out here. And you're asking, where could I acquire some bad stuff? Where can I get
It's
things?
not even really bad stuff. It just is associated with bad people.
Oh, and they kind of look at you, the two players, and they look and they're just like, well, you're looking for trade that isn't in the city walls. You could always head over to the docks. That's probably where you'll find trade. Kind of trade you're looking for. They look you up and down, say, you don't look like you belong here. You a member of the Fist?
No. I say this to I say, no, I'm not a member of the Fist in a completely unconvincing way. On purpose.
Yeah, he points you towards the docks. Down there, take a right. Follow it all the way till you smell the salt of the ocean. You'll find the place you're looking for. And we see Asteria make her way through this alleyway.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we see you sweep your way through the alleyway, and as you break out into the docks, you see there is not as many members of the Fist here, though you do see far south, there does seem to be an actual Flaming Fist ship, a huge galleon that's made its way into port, but that entire part of the Dark Docks has been just like completely warded off. It has like a built wooden wall to block off that area. The rest of the docks are left to the common people, the folk of Tariki Anchorage, and you can tell that there is definitely it's weird. So there's a crowd of people here, and there are ships that are sort of docked inside, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of guard, any kind of like retinue to like protect anything. And it just seems like a crowd that's constantly moving. People going onto the docks of ships and coming off of the docks of ships, and you can see that the way it's moving, it just sort of makes it look like, oh, people going about their day. But as you sort of look around a little bit, what your passive perception is a 10.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at this.
You're terrible at passive perception. You can, I think you can at least tell, because it's just not hard to. I don't think it's super hard to get the idea that something else is going on here. This isn't just a crowd of people shuffling around these docks. You have a feeling that this itself just might be the market. It's just people moving about, looking as though they're going about like a daily, like, oh, I'm working these docks. I'm a dock worker, but really they're here to buy something pretty bad. And I think you can also probably see what members of the Flaming Fist you see. You don't see their sigils. Their hoods are up. They got their armor on. They're looking to make whatever trade they want, but they don't want to be recognized as members of the Fist here. This seems very Wild West. Just stepping out of this, the minute you step out of the sort of the main causeway of Tariki Anchorage, you've gone into pretty much unprotected wilds, and you get a lot of people eyeing you, Asteria. A lot of people looking at you just because of how nice you look in the area. A lot of people probably, you're getting the eyes that someone like, a fish, big fish. So your goal is to
That
just
is sort of the point.
So your goal here is to just find these coins, then, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think we can do a downtime activity in this situation. A short one, albeit. You are searching for particular items. They aren't terrible to find, but I think we can do sort of a rushed roll that can be risky, because you're in sort of a risky area. So you could end up losing some stuff here. Let me see how you do. Where are my downtime activities? Here they are. Downtime revisited, 123. What time? We're coming to a break pretty soon. Oh, good. Let's
Take your time. Keep going.
Rivals, downtime activities. Looking for a magic item, crafting an item, fighting, gambling, crime, relaxation, religious service, research, scribing a scroll. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, there might actually be a thing for the black market in Port Nyanzaru, like actual rules, which would be amazing. I would be so into that. Let me just see. Rival locations in the city. Do we talk about the black market? Well, let's go to Tariki Anchorage, because I know that's exactly where it is. Market Ward, because I know it's here. Malar's Throat, Tariki Anchorage. Smugglers. Let's see. Okay, cool. So, you are searching for a certain thing. I roll percentile dice, so you roll a... you can roll anywhere between persuasion, investigation, or deception. Your choice as to what you want to use to try and dig out of this market what you're looking for. And then I'm going to roll percentile dice to see if anything bad happens to you.
Hysteria.
All right. Deception 12. Did you want to use your inspiration? By the way, everybody has inspiration beginning of the session.
For this.
Yeah.
Why not?
Ooh. Okay.
Nice.
Lucky as you are, even with a 40% chance of bad things happening to you, you don't get your pocket picked this day. And you do get pointed in the right direction, it would seem. I think we find you at the end of a dock to a single fisherman who you've been sort of pointed in the direction of. You say you are looking for the iron tokens, correct? That is like literally what you're pointing towards, or are you trying to be more...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You can see this fisherman. He's at the very end of this dock, and there's a couple other fishermen along the way, and you can see that people sort of like stop by and pick up fish barrels from them, and go with the fish barrels. And I think you get the sense that like the people who are picking up the fish barrels and making their way, there's probably more in those fish barrels than lets on, because they tend to, there's like an exchange happening here that's just swift of hand. And that's kind of what's been happening all around you in the Dark Docks. Is just like exchanges. You have literally been stepping your way through a massive market, but it just doesn't look that way from someone stepping through. It's just a constantly moving crowd. There are no stalls. The deals are made on the fly between people doing things. It's very interesting. So yeah, you make your way up to this fisherman. You were told to ask him how his catch was today.
Guess I ask him how my catch is. Or his catch is.
And then you hear me
No,
says...
my catch. Definitely my catch.
Yeah, your catch. And he just says, that is how big your catch is you're looking for, friend. There are bigger fish deep in the sea, smaller ones. What's your interest?
I'm looking for much smaller fish.
Smaller fish, you say? What kind of weight to these fish?
Oh, they're just the littlest of fish.
And he says, some small fish are hard to find. These ones hard to find? What you're looking for?
Oh, I've heard they're all throughout these water.
I must say, some people cook and eat their fish. What's your plan to do with what you're looking for, friend?
Oh, they're just gifts.
Gifts. Interesting. And he just says, how many of these fish you need?
Oh, I need 7 of them.
Oh, that's a lot of fish. Says, man can only drudge up so much from these waters in a day. How about 3? I'll get you 3.
3 is a good start.
3 is always a good start. He says, I'm not a man who works for free. And you look over, he's completely blind. He turns over to you. You can see his eyes completely whited out. And he says, what do you trade me for these fish?
That is a good... Well, I've got some other fish I can trade.
And he just goes, not sure I'm interested in fish. I'm interested in information. Also interested in gold.
Oh, I know some very talkative fish.
Do you? He says, tell me about your catch. What would you like to trade this individual? What do you have to give him that's equal for 3 iron coins?
This is so shady.
Probably information about the, who's the crazy zealots we met in the...
Ooh, the
wilderness
order of the
coming back.
Gauntlet?
Yeah, that are definitely suckers waiting for the thieves to come back.
Make a base charisma check. Just use your charisma. Okay. Let's say, heard about them. And he says, it's not a bad fish. Maybe if the fish came with a name, it might be worth the haul. So he's looking for names. Do you give him names? You know a couple. You know Niles Breakbone? You know Captain Salhalla?
Guess we'll go with Niles Breakbone as the starter. And that... Because it's interesting to know that he's dead.
It is interesting. He, you feel him, he tugs on the pole and he's go, oh, got one. Pulls it in, takes out the fish, does something with it you're not sure, and then plunks it into the water, and then kicks it your way. And the water splashes a little bit onto the dock, and he says, "Anything else?"
So I'm trying to get 3 fish, I guess. So,
You are. You know, Salhalla's name would probably be valuable here. What also might be valuable is what happened at the camp as well.
Oh yeah, I'll give that out.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah. In like whatever sort of broken like speech where it's not quite saying what you're saying, he understands the story, and he'll go, "Seems as though the haul of the catch equals the weight what I have for you." And he pulls out another 2 fish, does something with them, plunks them into the water, and he says, "Your order, sir." "Ma'am, sorry, I can't tell." He looks at his eyes, and he just says, "Here you go." And he hands you the bucket.
Alright, I guess I take my fish.
Alright, yeah, you take your fish and start making your way out of Tariki Anchorage through the alleyway. So,
I don't think these are normal fish.
Asteria, before we move our camera off of you, we see you pass an individual, a half-orc. He has sort of a scarf that comes up pretty far in his neck, and he looks pretty lean in his face. Long features, long tusks in his mouth, gray skin, and he's leaning back on one of the buildings, and he has an apple in his hand, and you hear him crunch it as you pass him. And as you pass him, he gives you a smile and holds up the apple. And you pass him, and you turn around. Make a history check. "13. You swear you recognize him, Asteria. You swear you recognize him, but it's taking you a moment to figure out from where. How do you feel about that? What are you doing right now, Asteria? What is
He is trying not to panic.
Yeah, he steps away out of the shadow and drops the apple on the ground, and you hear him say, and I think your heart drops. You hear him say in just a dark orcish tone, just says, "Far away from your studies, aren't you?" And
Field trip.
he says, "Well, I hope you had fun." And we're going to leave you right there, Asteria. He has, you notice now, he has a long black bow on his back, an obsidian black bow, and some black leafed arrows as well. I'm gonna throw this guy down onto the board. You see that also he is pretty well armored. He looks like this. Your memory's starting to jar a little bit. It's starting to go, "Oh God, where do I know this guy from?" Yeah, you're looking for anything on him, and our scene skips from you. Oh, went out into the war. So that's good. All right, we move back into the cat's eye. Our camera shifting its way once again into that misty building, that sagging misty building. The fumes of the cauldron sort of filling the room. You sit with Bati, or you stand, Bati. Left it exactly where we were, where I believe she asked what called you here, or the door called you here. What is it you need, my child? And then she killed a turtle and scooped it into the soup.
Charming. She kind of... Valfine's... Her eyes kind of narrow, and she glances over her shoulder at Alexandria nearby. And she looks back and says, well, I recognize this music. It's thrown me off, actually.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's cool because it's exactly what I imagined. But no, so she kind of makes note of Alexandria over her shoulder, and she says, I am looking for... I have a problem.
Alexandria is like realizing this is a shop. She's actually started wandering around, poking at things on shelves.
Yeah, you're just sort of checking out whatever's closest to you, whatever's around.
I think she's got a big ass mason jar with a shriveled head in it, and she's having a staring contest. But her face is completely just horrified that this thing is there. She's just locked staring at this thing.
I think we hear Baptiste say, "You'll never win that contest, child. Trust me, I've tried." And she'll say, "So you come to Mother Baptiste with a problem many people do."
She, her head tilts forward and she looks at her from underneath her brow now. Kind of only half trying to keep her voice under her breath.
When you look at Baptiste, it's hard not to notice that the eye and her medallion looks at you. It really looks like it's looking at you. It has its own sort of presence.
Interesting.
And she'll say, "Eyes up here, darling."
Actually, there's an eye down there.
Thank you.
She says, "Do not let it distract you. It is merely a trinket."
I'm having an issue, and I ran out. It's not a cure, but it helps.
You are looking for a cure. Well, Mother can help you. I fix many things for many people. If they feel pain, if they wish to forget something, they don't want to remember anymore. If they are having trouble seeing or tasting, swallowing, I have many different remedies. You've come to the right place.
Yeah. Thinking less of a ethereal problem, more of a physical issue.
What pains you, child?
It's a loaded question.
She has back problems.
Ah, I like the straightforwardness of your friend. Makes business quite lucrative. Sure.
It also makes sneaking very difficult.
Hey.
Oh, you wouldn't be sneaky in Mother Baptiste's home, no? Not in the cat's eye.
Not if you have what I need.
Oh, I have what you need. You suffer from pain in your back. Tell me about this pain. Where do you feel it?
It's about 4 feet tall. 2 aisles over.
All kinds of pain have different faces. This is all
4
kind.
feet tall. What are you talking about?
I just fucking lowballed my height. All right, it was.
Oh, pain. Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna say, is there a gnome in here? What's going on? She's not sure how to describe it. She doesn't speak for a moment. It's difficult to say.
Did you
what
pull
exactly this
something?
is.
Were you wounded?
I was wounded.
A
long time ago.
wound. See, that tells me a little something more. This wound, it still aches.
Yes.
You say a long time ago you received it, yet you still feel pain from the wound.
That's the money-making question, isn't it?
Oh, Doisies. Mother Patty can help you, but I may need more information. You say you are wounded. What's
Would it
that?
be easier for you to examine it?
Oh, I imagine that would help a lot. Please, come into my office. And she just sort of like points over at the other side of the tool table where there is a chair. A creaky
Do I need
chair.
to roll a perception check to see if there are any saws around here?
Oh yeah, there's saws. There's absolutely some saws. Yeah, there's all kinds of tools.
Chopping devices, drills.
Sticking out of the.
She'll look over to you, Alexandria, while Valfie makes her way over, and she'll say, "Please peruse at your leisure. If you find something you like, you may purchase it. Bring it to me, and we will exchange coin or trade, whatever it is you are interested in."
So, what are you selling?
This is all kinds of things, my dear. What are you looking for?
Well, I mean, my companion's problems are more pressing than my shopping ones.
Of course.
Do you happen to have a pre-assembled list?
Perhaps I do. And she shuffles through a drawer and pulls out a dusty old piece of paper, and there's like a spider on it. She just whacks it to the ground. And then you immediately see you can hear the jingle of a bell, and you can see that crawling into the room is a carrion crawler, a literal spider creature, but it's like a baby one. And it crawls into the room and eats up the spider. She'll just say, "Nicholas, back! And she kicks it. So,
How much for Nicholas?
it's a baby carrion crawler, and she says, "You know you're not allowed in the room when mother is doing business, back." And she'll turn over, she says, "Sorry, he offends many people. Apologies. He's actually older than he looks, stunted growth and all. Made sure he would stay small so I could keep him in the city. Anyway, let's take a look at this wound." And she just sort of curls her three-fingered paws together. Come, show me.
What do you need me to do?
Just expose the wound to me. That way I might investigate.
Hesitating a moment, Valfine will kind of roll her cloak from her shoulders and let the loose, more outer garment fall off. Just kind of, are we still wearing,
Chulton's clothes if you wanted, yeah.
yeah, I would say since we were over at
To the villa.
Golden Throne and everything,
Yeah. So you got your back to her. You're turned.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel her breath on your neck just a little bit, not that close, but you can just sort of feel her breath on your back. As she seems to, you can hear the jingle of her jewelry as well, as she seems to be bending down to look at the wound, and you're expecting a reaction. How many people have you shown this before?
One person.
Did they react like, oh my god? Like, how did they react?
Yes, it was...
You're expecting that reaction, and you don't hear anything. And you're sitting there for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and it might be a moment where, like, I imagine it's like, okay, do you see anything? You know, like, you might just like turn like a hello, and she's not there. She's no longer staying behind you. You can see Alexandria like probably pulling something off of the shelf, still in the room, and it's only for a moment where you're like, where'd she go? And you immediately see her, like, a door swing open from the back. Like, you didn't even hear her go. She was just that silent, and she has a few things in her held close to her chest, and she takes them in and she says, "Don't worry, child. Mother Bati will take care of you. But I will need some things." And she's putting like these vials onto her sort of tool bench here, and with the cauldron at its center still boiling, and she'll say, "But we will have to make what it is you need. Mother Bati does not carry something pre-made like this." And then she goes over towards the cauldron that's like, it's sort of just built into this tool shelf, and she just like pours it over. And you can see that there's a grate in front of the tool shelf, and the entire thing, even like the half pieced together turtle, just like falls down into this grate and down into the sewers. And she pulls it back, and it's empty. You can see the steam coming out, and she immediately takes a bucket of water and splashes it in and starts pouring things together. She starts brewing. Valfine and Alexandria, what are you guys doing?
Valfine's gonna quick put her cloak back up where it was before.
Okay, yeah. Do you... What? Yeah, go ahead.
Just kind of... sort of like, she knows there are only two people in the room. It's more of a conditioned response, making sure nobody was checking. Checking to see or had seen it. Yeah.
Alexandria, what are you doing? You can see this spills out. She's immediately starting to brew and seems to have Valfine's answer. She seems quite confident, Mother Bati.
Yeah, really all at this point Alexandria has just become the wingman for her girl at the bar. Like, she's here to ensure her safety, but she's not going to pry into her business, so she's actively engaging with all of these weird wares that very, very much creep her the hell out.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy things.
Yeah, she's more essentially purposefully distracting herself for her friend's privacy. So I bet she was startled at the sudden, like, because she wasn't paying attention. So she like whips around and she's got a wand in her hand, like, "Oh, let's go!" And then realizes, "Oh, okay, I should probably not."
Yeah, she'll look up at you in that moment and say, "Just a little hot water. Don't worry. It won't hurt you." She lets it swing back, starts pouring those things in. She'll say, "Do be a dear. Grab me that black jar over there." She points at top shelf.
All right, yeah, I'll go get that black jar.
She asks for a couple other things. You grab them for her too. Like, as you bring one thing back, she asks for another.
I think she has this look of, why am I doing this at first, but then realizes what would I be doing otherwise, and helps anyway.
She smiles. "Smart girl. Go." And yeah, you can bring her.
Smart girl.
You bring her different things, and she gets it all in and starts to like stir the pot. We can see it start to boil and start to glow. We can see like whatever comes out of each of these things is weirder than the last. We see a tentacle out of one. We could see like the dust of ashes out of another. Some like just pour straight up gems into the pot, and they just burn and sizzle and turn into another part of the stew. And she'll say, It is almost ready. This has been like almost an hour. And she'll say,
Nope.
it only needs one more ingredient. She'll say, I don't know how you got that scar, but I can only pity you, child. I'm sure that this will help you for a time, but you will have to return. And I will need the final ingredient. And she holds out a hand to you. I need only 3 hairs from your beautiful head.
Kind of without hesitating at all, she puts her hand behind her head and pulls a couple out and hands them over.
Okay. Yep, she pulls them straight and then pulls them again to look at them and see well that there are 3. And she is going to toss those into the pot. Valfing, you catch that only 2 hairs went into the pot. You don't know where the 3rd one is. And they sizzle and burn. She'll say, perfect. And you start to see it turn into a silvery color. And as it does, she will dip a single vial glass in and fill it to the brim, at which point, as it pulls the rest of that silver color out, even though it's a full cauldron, it pulls all the color out in that single vial that's only about this big. And she says, this will last you about 30 days, maybe more, if you conserve it. And she puts a cork on it and hands it to you. But the entire cauldron is just gone completely black. And this bottle
30
is
days?
silver. You could make it last longer if you ration it, though. I think the pain would be a little worse. Yeah,
How many for 2?
For 2? She says, I don't think I have the ingredients for more. It would take Mother some time to get them. You can see, and she points at all the empty bottles, I've spent much for this. Mother Petit is not made of herbs. These things take time to collect. For now, this is what I have. Return to me in 30 days, and I will have you more. She hands...
How much?
Do not worry, child. I've already taken my price. And she just hands you the bottle.
Red flag. Red flag.
I think that's a perfect moment for us to take a break, and we're going to come back to War and Brolin as Jabal has stepped into the public bathhouse, and we're going to see how that goes. So we will take a quick 10-minute break and jump back into it, friends. Excellent. Very, very, very cool. Oh my gosh. Shit. Let me get in my editor here. Okay, here we go. Break screen.
So does everyone have plans for pirates?
are back. Okay, so our camera shifts its way over from Bati after she announced that, "No, darling, I've received my payment." And we make our way over to Brolin and War back in the public bathhouse. Jabal has just entered in his sort of royal retinue, and we see Adric look over to you, Brolin. He kind of like moves over and says, "Who's this guy? Is he the one who paid for all this?"
Yeah, that's Prince Jabal. He was kind of in deep with Mushrib.
This was Mushrib's boss. Oh, I heard he was a dick.
Yeah, don't tell him that, though.
No, I'm not going to offend him. As Jabal walks in, he gets a couple people who bow in his direction. Not many dwarfs don't. Jabal doesn't take offense to it. He just keeps moving towards one of the back pools. One that you notice is empty, actually. There aren't any dwarves in it, and you can see that it's kind of been ordained, like he set it up for himself to be the only one in that ice pool, the non-public ice pool. And he's probably here with about 6 guards, and he's got his consort next to him and a couple of servants, probably a handful, as he makes his way towards the pool, and they start helping him undress. War and Brolin, what are you guys doing? There's a lot of like talking, but just like amongst people, just like, boys, he got his own pool, and just like all that stuff, and then it's kind of like overshadowed by the sound of Boris, just like. Jimmy! No, Jimmy, get out of that! No, you don't belong. He's like he wants to get in the pool, like the single pool, and he like grabs him and he's like, "No, don't get in there, you'll get us in trouble." Why in the pool? Go ahead, bro.
So, Jabal kind of interrupted that, but he was about to. Aldrich was about to, pretty much tell me the name of the person who made the bowl. It's kind of big. Like, you were saying, Uncle Al. I mean, well, who made it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's kind of something about that guy. Anyway, yes. Ash.
And he'll say,
Full name is Ashara.
Ashara?
Yes. She was a friend of the clan's, someone who helped us in a time when we needed it most. She's not a dwarf. She's a kokra. A bird-type people. You must know them. You lived here long enough. Seen your fair share, I imagine. They're quite rare.
Oh.
Yes. In a time when we needed allies. We were facing a darkness that was consuming the South, an army of death. We asked her for aid. Spiritual aid. She provided it to us, but at a cost. One that proved far too steep. I don't want to bring up these old memories, Brolin.
It's all right.
He says,
Where can I find this, Sajara?
He turns to you with an eye.
You don't want to find her, Brolin. You want to stay away. You'll just find trouble. Any kind of help from her will come at a cost.
And he says, he looks at that bowl and he says,
You'd be better burying that thing than carrying it with you.
And he says,
But I won't refuse you this information. If you truly want it, for the sake of your brother, his sacrifice, I will tell you. If she lives...
His sacrifice? What are you talking about?
Says, your brother gave a lot to the community, and his death, he was brought back. He was killed as we escaped Harakbar. It's an old story. I imagine he must have told you.
No, he didn't tell me much.
He says he was resurrected.
And he says,
I believe that's why he took the curse on in the first place. From my knowledge of it, people retain the curse if they once escaped death. He says... Anyway, that's a different story. You're looking for Shara. This is the day that we honor your brother, and I can't find myself refusing you the information. If she still lives, which I doubt, you'll find it in a temple south of here, though not nearly south enough to reach our forgotten Harakma. She takes up residence with others of her kind in a place known as Kirsabal.
Kirsabal.
They call her the Teacher, but do not be fooled by that name. What she teaches is lies, prayers to a false god that'll only lead you down a road of sadness. Don't go down that road, Brolin. Your brother gave up much to save you. Don't let that be in vain.
Incidentally, looks around, make sure no one really hears him. Mushrib was my only brother, right?
Says, as far as I know, your father never sired another son nor daughter other than you.
All right.
During your conversation, War, you are still within the pools. Are you conversing with anyone? What are you doing? Are you just staying there? Are you watching Brolin? Are you near him while he has this conversation? What are you doing?
War's probably, like I said before, he's probably hovering around that area where he met Musharib.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll probably take a seat where he did on that same day and kind of sit back and relax in the cold water he did previously, and figured, like, you know, if this was what Musharib would have wanted, maybe, I don't know.
You can, you sit down right in that same area. And as you sit back, you understand why Musharib sort of sat in this zone. You get a good view of the entire bathhouse. There are a lot of dwarves conversing, but I think your eye is caught by Jabal as he enters into his single pool. He's been completely stripped. He holds just sort of like a modest, like cloth covering up his bits, and he starts to step his way into the pool. And as he does, like he's making a whole show of it. And his servants are watching him. There's a couple of the adjacent pools are watching as the lordly prince makes his way into the pool, and you can see him shivering, and he has something in his hand that looks like a satchel of gold or something, and he starts to make his way across the pool. Jabal doesn't look well. War.
I'm kind of happy that he's wading into ice water.
He's wading into ice water, and he's just shivering his way as he makes his way towards the pyre. Yeah, he doesn't look well. All the while, Brolin is locked in this conversation with his godfather, Adric. And we see him place the like he gets over there like quick as he can, but he just can't go quite fast enough, and he places the bag of gold atop the pyre, and he pats his hand on it and like looks like he's trying to say something, but like can't get the words out. And he turns, and he's clutching himself very closely, and he's noticeably like shivering as he tries to wade through the water trying to get back. His servants are like sticking out their hands for him. You're just watching this war. Are you doing anything, or are you just witnessing?
He's watching with kind of a confused look. Yeah, and then he'd probably be like bouncing back and forth between watching to make sure Brolin's not heading over towards him or anything. But
Okay, yeah, you're sort of watching this play out, and you can see some of the other people that are watching, some of the other dwarves look a little concerned, and they're kind of like peeking their heads up, like, oh, geez, he's getting right out. And he starts to make his way over, and he gets about halfway through the pool before he stumbles and starts to fall into the water below his chest, and he immediately pops back up, just... and he's just struggling, and he starts to make his way through the water, and he stumbles again and splashes, his head almost going under. He tries to get himself up, and he goes all the way down, and his servants immediately start trying to step into the pool as he just goes under, like he's unable to hold his legs up. The cold gripped him so hard. His servants pour into the pool and start to pull at him, and they pull him out. He's dead. He's dead. They pull him out, and you immediately notice, and you can tell the servants notice as well, and they look around and immediately are like covering him and like getting around him and like calling for the guards to come down, and they are trying to like usher him out of this place without anyone noticing. You can see there's a little bit of commotion in the pool, like what's happening? Is he okay? You know, like you can hear it in Dwarvish going on, and there's a little bit of a rise, and I think that breaks the conversation for Brolin and Adric right at the end there. The room seems to be a little bit abuzz with what's going on, as you can't see Jabal anymore. He's surrounded by servants. You don't know what's going on, Brolin, Adric, anybody in this pool other than War, as he's being ushered out.
Stood up at this point and was like looking at him, because when he started falling, he stood up like slowly to like see if maybe he could help, and then by the time everything went down, he didn't have time to get in there. There are people in the on the outside of the bathhouse. They're getting shoved out of the way by servants and guards, and he's just getting pushed. They're like, oh, what's going on? He just get out of the way, and they're immediately just like rushing. You can hear them just they're trying to not call as much attention. It's a lot of whispers, but Jabal can't be seen. He's completely surrounded by servants and guards, and he is ushered out of the bathhouse. War, yeah, you definitely caught that he was stiff as a board.
What's going on? It's Jabal. Where's he going? He's the one who started this.
Adric just disrespectful. Here for a moment and gone the next. Oh, princes these days.
Yeah, I needed to talk to him. He wants me to be a guide.
At least he paid for this. He says, come, Roland. I don't think we've held long enough to respect your brother. We should get out of these pools, get warmed up, get a drink.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure if Boris was telling the truth in this, but he said Mushroom had a will.
Oh, Boris. Supposed to keep that to himself. Oh, what did he tell you?
He told me something was in it for me, but
oh, Boris.
He swims over and smacks Boris in the back of the head.
He says, Godfather Adric, I'm sorry. What'd I do? And he said, Boris, you idiot. I want to keep a secret. And he just says, now I've got I was supposed to have a little bit of pizzazz to that, and you took all the muster out of my saddles. And he says, I don't know what I did.
And you can just see fucking like the floaties on Jimmy, where he's just still drowning because Boris isn't paying attention to him. He just goes, he pulls him out of the water. And he just goes,
oh, damn idiot. And he says, Brolin, come on, let's get a drink.
All right, I'll find War. I imagine does War look concerned?
Yeah. So War, he's probably got some concern on his, and looking like back towards where like Jabal got carried off.
War, you okay? What's wrong?
He'll probably say, come here for a sec. Sit down. And like he's in the pool.
Oh, well, hey, Uncle Eldrick, come here for a second.
What?
What are you saying, War? What's wrong?
I don't think Jabal is okay.
Oh, is he sick? What are you talking about?
He looked a little pale when he came in. Talking about that prince fellow?
Yeah.
Yes.
My future boss.
He wasn't moving when they pulled him out of the pool.
The water get to him?
He seemed very cold.
But
You don't mean dead.
dead. What are you talking about?
War looks and like the I be dead or not look on his face. You know, he says like on his face you can read he could be, and I wouldn't know, but
What? Is that a? So I'm a resident of Port Nines. Is the death of a prince like? I'm assuming it's as huge as it sounds.
It's huge. It's huge. If a prince is dead, the first thing that happens is, okay, who killed him? Like, that's the first thing that comes into mind. Which, as you're, no, it probably wouldn't happen this soon. Never mind. Not this soon. It's only been a few moments since he got carried out.
War, you gotta be serious with me here. Are you? No. He was just in the pool. There's no way.
I don't know what happened, but
No, you don't.
all I saw was he wasn't moving when he came out.
Listen, you don't understand. He leans in close. He's like, I think I was a little kid maybe when last time I saw a prince die, but it was bad, War. It's not fun. And with stuff happening around the port right now, it could start a damn war.
This is brutal.
Oh, that would be so awful.
Maybe it's I looked
Eat
at
your fish. Be quiet.
I looked at Eldrin. I looked at my uncle, and I say maybe it's
You're talking about murder. Are you even sure he's dead? Are you making a fuss over nothing? Listen, I don't know why you pulled me over here for this. I don't want to deal with port politics.
We'll find out in time. We should just keep going about the funeral.
Seemed to me like a prince who came in, couldn't handle the water, and got out as quick as he could. Good riddance,
blame him,
doesn't
it's
belong
cold.
here anyway.
War turns to Brolin and says, Brolin, there was something else I wanted to talk to you about.
yeah. What's up?
Says, this is where I met your brother. Sitting here. And he gestures to the spot that Mushur was sitting.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We were looking for a guide. We talked to him after we talked to Iku. It's
Really?
interesting to me to think of it now. I also met you coming out of the water.
Yeah, that's right, actually. You know, actually, that very same day, I think he called me over. Wanted me to keep an eye on you guys.
I know you say you've had, but you are similar in ways that you didn't know. And I bet that's more true than you think.
Maybe. Probably right.
Share the same blood. Imagine there's some similarities in there.
I mentioned a montage of Mushrib and Brolin in different scenarios, flashing back to different scenes, telling people to fuck off.
He raised you. Mushrib raised you.
Hey, go fuck yourself. Talk to me like this.
Mushrib, Mushrib, go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm fine.
Mushrib raised you, and I think, I don't know, it's up to you whether or not you think Mushrib told you he saved your life, but Uncle, or Godfather Adric over here is saying that he did.
How'd he save my life?
Of course he hasn't told you. Took you practically as a babe out of Rockmore himself. Died for you. Saved your life, though. Brought him back. And he did. Make sure to keep his corpse well. We had priests back then who could do such things. No longer. And,
Roland's got to look Brolin's got a look of shock and kind of like guilt.
He never told you, really. You're both about as stubborn as a hollowed out log. I'm sure that analogy works. Now I'm using it anyway.
So,
Valeria's not there. She'd be sad for that.
so this will he's talking about. I mean, I thought it was just this necklace.
You need to hear it now rather than later. I never knew you wanted so much information so fast. First, who's Ash? Tell me about them. You haven't heard about them in 400
Well,
years.
a lot happened in the jungle.
Tell me about how my brother saved my life. However many years ago that was. It's all more like 50, but they all sort of mix together. 450, it's practically the same.
Well, if you were here instead of Waterdeep.
And he says, I wouldn't stay here longer than a day if I ever had a choice. This place,
Looks at it, he says,
it's a mockery. Chultans gave up on their land long ago. Portnine and Zaru.
he looks around to make sure there aren't any humans nearby, any native Chultans, and he says,
Portnine and Zaru is simply a monument to what they gave up.
and he'll say,
If you want to know what he left you with, I can tell you it's a task. And I don't know if you're going to be happy about it.
Oh, don't tell me.
Says,
No, don't tell me.
They're burning Musharib. I imagine that's obvious. It's the way most dwarves go. But he never wanted to be buried here in port. His final wish, and I imagine you know what I'm about to say.
Oh.
He wishes to be buried in Harakmar. And he wants you to be the one to put the sand on his...
That's cool.
I need new pants.
I look at him. You bastard!
We all called it. Everyone knew.
Even in death.
It's at this point that a bunch of people are like, "Oh, they told him." like everybody knew, but you.
He starts speaking in.
Yeah, a couple.
No. I
Good luck in Harakmar, bro.
I charge Musha and Corp.
They all hold you back.
Hold him back.
They're all, there's dwarves holding you back and patting. It's in every dwarven tradition. Oh, the brother always buries the ashes. This one's far away, oh boy. It's pat him.
For the brother to attack the corpse of the other brother.
Oh, you bastard!
Epic pilgrimage.
I think we then see the scene push its way away from the bathhouse, away from Brolin reaching out. You bastard! I think that's a perfect spot to pause. As we sift our view back over into a little bit of a more stressful situation. So this individual has stepped out into the street, Asteria. You're racking your mind to try to remember. Give me another history check. Okay, a little bit better than before. You're starting to recognize some features, and all you can tell is this is definitely someone from Snowdown. He steps forward with a crooked smile and he says,
So, imagine you know what I'm here for. Imagine you remember my name, maybe. Zaraj, ring any bells?
and you do. You remember Zaraj the Hunter. You recall that Madam Viceroy, the ruler of Snowdown, this is her most prominent mercenary, her most prominent assassin. You recognize him immediately, and I think your spine goes a little cold. He's very good at what he does. And immediately you remember that Zaraj doesn't work alone, and you are looking to the rooftops. You recall that Zaraj works with a pair of twins, both worse than the last, humans. And you see these two individuals, and you know that they are vampires. And they also work directly with Zaraj, and they are related to Madame Viceroy in some way or another, though you're not 100% sure. One looks like this, and the other looks like this. They sit on the top of the rooftops in this alley, and you quickly notice there's no one else moving in this alley when there was people at one point. All of these, it's sort of like right at this like tri-section here, and I think we see the twins make their way on the rooftops of either of this side just behind you. They essentially got you surrounded, and you hear them speak in tandem, and they just say, "Brave little sister, you must come home." And they sing together in harmony. And you, you look up at them, and Zaraj says,
"No, I don't think this needs to be violent. Though I wouldn't mind it. I've been waiting a while. You'll come quietly back to the Isles. Your little study trip is done."
Asteria, what do you do or say?
My parents were trying a little harder with this group.
And they say,
"Mom and Dad do miss you. So does the Viceroy. The Madam is very interested in you. Sad to see someone leave our island so quickly."
And you'll say, "So far from home that you have gone back. Mother waits, and father as well." And they you can hear them sort of sing in tandem, the twin sisters, and they laugh. One holds a mask on her face with dark hair and what looks to be like horns about her. They both wear what looks to be like fine dresses, but as they smile you can see their pointed teeth, and they're just sort of over top you. We can see the sun at its highest point pointing down and just casting these shadows around where they are simply just silhouettes. And Zaraj says,
"Well, enough standing off."
and he pulls out an arrow and points it at you. He says,
"Come quietly."
You know Zaraj rarely misses his mark. In this moment, Asteria, you start to feel that cold chill on your spine travel further throughout your body. And what is the thing you do in this moment? Do you dart and try to run, or do you try to say something else to him?
I'm gonna say something else to him.
What do you say? Exactly.
Well, I'm here on a mission for I can't let these villains continue to rule this
peninsula. Yeah, he'll.
I just did place in general.
Place. Okay. Yeah, he'll say,
"You act out of line. If the Viceroy wanted the princes dealt with, or Chult in general, she would have sent orders to do so. No, little sister. You are wanted back."
And he'll fire the arrow at you. And as he does, it comes closer to you, and you watch as ice trails off of it, and it comes to a complete stop a few inches from you. And by the time it's like right here, it freezes, and you look around, and everything is encased in complete ice. Where's my evil music? And here it is. And we hear a whistling tune, just this. And you see walking out of a alleyway the pinstriped suit of Crowley. He says, my, quite a predicament you've found yourself in. He looks up at the frozen figures above you, the two sisters. Vampires. Well. And then he looks over and he says, oh, and a powerful soul. You are wanted by so many. My. He says, well, I didn't want to interrupt. He makes his way up and puts a finger to the arrow and just draws it down the line, some of the frost falling off of the tip of the black feather, and just says, it just so happens I came to tell you. The first task is done. I work very quickly. Seems as though your friend Jabal had a few contracts already. A couple he hadn't quite paid upon. I pulled a few strings, made sure those fell into Levistus's lap, and the deed has been completed. His body is cold. His soul, well, not sure. Pain, really. Can't harvest souls. Not lately. You are supposed to be doing something about that, aren't you?
Oh, yes, of course. I just have a few souls to gather here at the moment.
And he says...
And I walk out of the path of the arrow.
Yeah. As you try to walk out of the path of the arrow, you find yourself frozen. Like, you can't move. You kind of try to move, and there's just ice, and you can't move. And he says, that's not how it works. This is quite the situation you find yourself in. He says, but lucky you. Seems as though just last night you made the deal of your life. I can get you out of this situation, if it seems necessary. Place you somewhere else you'd rather be. Not too far, of course. Within a mile. But, of course you only have a few of these. You remember the perimeter of our rules. 3 times it was, yes, I save your life. And this definitely seems like a life-saving situation, if not, metaphorically. Seems they want to capture you. Take you away. Now that's not what I want, and that's not what you want, but you're the one who has to pull the trigger. Do you wish to be saved from this situation?
I need to acquire his soul for you, too, it seems.
He looks over to Zaraj. Is that who you look towards? He says,
yeah.
Oh. Well, you do recall the parameters of what it takes to own a soul, correct? The individual has to be either willing to give it to you, or you have to save their life. And he looks at the situation, he says, I don't believe you are in a predicament that can provide such things.
Oh, not at the moment. But he has earned it now.
And he says, Well, so you wish for me to leave you here, then?
Now, he'll catch up to me again, and I'll be ready for him next time.
That is smart. Best to use Levistus's gifts in intelligent manners. Well, then. I am very curious how you plan to save the life of someone wishing to capture you, or somehow using your silver tongue to convince them to sell you their soul. You do intrigue me, Asteria. I do so love to watch your story unfold. Well then, if we'll be off, where to then? A mile distance? Here within the city doesn't seem safe, but of course neither does anywhere else alone. Where will it be?
Is Sigil within a mile of me?
Jack Brass? No, I believe, from what knowledge you've given me and what I've been able to ascertain from your
adventures. He is far away in that fort, more than 40 miles. I could get you going in that direction, though you'd be leaving your precious friends behind. And let's just be honest, those are the closest you have to any kind of souls you wish to trade. But it's up to you. Where do you wish to go?
To the Golden Throne.
To the Golden Throne it is. A white mist billows in on all 3 pathways and covers you like a storm of ice. And as it clears, you find yourself standing in the gardens of Golden Throne. As you are standing there and it clears up, the area begins to melt of whatever ice was left before, and you find yourself back in the merchant's ward. You don't hear Crowley. He doesn't appear anymore towards you or within your vicinity. The scene just melts and turns back to Golden Throne. You have been saved from this situation. What do you do in Golden Throne before I move the camera?
Oh, I start walking back towards Jabal's place.
Okay, yeah. Some guards see you. They assume that you could tell they probably don't do an amazing job telling who's come in and come out, because you came in just earlier this day, so they assume that maybe you stayed. And they might second guess, but they don't question it. But you can exit the Golden Throne. There's plenty of people going in and out to speak to what princes will talk to them, and you start heading towards Jabal's manor.
I guess not Jabal's. The one we were staying at.
Over to Wakonga's?
Wakanga. Yeah, Wakonga's.
Yeah, Wakonga's. So yeah, you start to head across back to Wakonga's villa. Nice. All the Asteria moves. This is good stuff. And we'll make these people disappear, whoever they are. They are gone. And we will.
They are angry. That's what they are.
Deep. That's what you.
Oh yeah, they're not happy. They had you. They had you. Beautiful. So, we step back into the cat's eye. Mother Bati has given you the potion that you desire, Valfine. Alexandria, is there anything that you... And we've left with her saying I've received my payment. And if there's anything Asteria wants to purchase... Or Alexandria, sorry.
Well, I asked if there was a list, and you never...
Of things? Oh, yeah. She does sell pretty much any potion you can imagine.
Okay.
If there's a potion in a book, she can make it, but it's for a price. She doesn't list the prices. She just lists that she can make them.
How many of my hairs for 3 3 healing potions?
You ask her and she'll say, 3? And she'll take out 3 potions of healing. 3 potions for 3 hairs. I think that's a good deal. You are a very important individual.
Whoa, what does that mean?
She says, you have an air about you. Oh, wait, this isn't her voice. I apologize. You have an air about you, darling. There is a aura, let's say. Seems to give off that you are one who fancies themselves a holder of a destiny. That's at least what I feel when you are here in the room with me. I would love the hairs. 3 hairs for 3 potions? I think that is a good deal. And wouldn't you know it, 3 potions is what I have brewed. She'll put 3 healing potions out.
Well, that's all well and good. I'm gonna open up my coin purse, but I think I'll just pay with actual money. And
you see the eye was like looking at you, and just looking at. You could see it was examining your hairline.
Not receding yet. Thank you very much.
And
open up my coin purse, and then go. Oh, I'm broke. Lots
to
of
say,
embarrassing.
There are many ways to pay for things, darling. The hairs, for instance. Other things.
What other things?
Says, well, I just peruse my shop, and you can see what many things, tokens I take from people. You carry much with you. And she holds up her fingers. A little bit can go.
You know what? I think I'll pass on that. I don't have any regenerating spells just yet. So, how about her hairs? I point to Valfine.
And she looks and she says, oh, but I already have received her hairs for her potion. And payment. No worry.
Valfine, care to spot a sister?
You have a full head of hair of your own.
Yeah, but she already has your hair, so, like, you know, if anything nefarious happens, she's already got your hair. What's a little more hair gonna
Nefarious.
do?
I so apologize. Once one has acquired one's hair, the value goes down quite a bit.
Ah, yeah, flooding the market. I get you.
There are many hairs upon people's heads.
Well, I think I need to assess my my potion situation further before I make any investments.
Of course.
But
you just come back
I-
to Mother Bati any time, and I may be able to provide you.
I'll do that. I hope you have a wonderful day. Valfine, are you done? Did you get your scoliosis?
No,
looked at?
She'll turn over and she'll turn over to you, Valve, and she'll say, "Yes, dear. I believe you have what you were looking for. The door was right yet again." You see, she has a front door. You have entered in the back. You may exit either way.
Before we go, what exactly are the hairs for?
I don't believe that that is your business. I believe that is mine.
I believe I suddenly happen to have a stake in your business.
Says, well, though you do, I don't deny. I am currently the only one who can provide you that potion. Let's just say I'm interested in making it again, possibly for you in the future. A little guarantee.
Insight check.
Go for it.
What is she?
The
shitting
eye is
about?
like looking right at you.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's like looking you up and down. 16. Let's see. Let's do whisper.
This is Zelda music, by the way. It's amazing.
Yeah, she got 20. She'll you don't get anything from her. She stays perfectly ambiguous. Like you have no idea. You can't see through her. But she has a smile and she says, "Feel free to return any time if you need anything else from Mother Bati. And if you run out of that potion, I'm sure by the time you do, and you will conserve it well, I imagine, I will have more for you if you are in need of it. Though the price will be
That's
much
thoughtful.
different."
Delphine's hazel eyes narrow sharply before conceding to move toward the back door where we came.
Yeah.
Yep.
Open up the creaky back door, and the light outside pours in, and it seems to be like this hallway's this was not nearly as dark as it was when you first entered.
Cute.
Yeah, guys, you guys found a friendly shopkeeper
Really shopkeeper. So you
who only wanted your hair.
you step back out into the alleyway of Mount Sabasa, and back into the market ward. Where from here, guys?
Alexandria and Valfine. And then we'll turn over to Brolin. Are you heading towards them?
Before we move, before even putting it in her pouch, with shaky hands, she undoes the stopper on it.
Yep.
And applies like a full
immediate effects. Your pain is relieved.
She lets out like a such a long relieved sigh.
1 of 30 uses marked. You have 39 left.
Excellent. I have how many left?
29.
Damn it.
29, not 39. 29
You
uses.
mean 39?
29.
39 uses. That's
29, 29, 29, 29, 29.
Okay, 29. Yep, she pops the stopper back on it and puts it in. She's got a dedicated pouch on this for her belt.
Okay. Nice.
And,
does Alexandria see you applying this stuff immediately? She's got to. She's like right next to you.
Not really any. Yeah.
It's a masterful sleight of hand. I mean, my passive perception ain't great, so.
I'd like to roll a sleight of hand.
Yeah, go for it.
Look at this crit fail.
See how this goes. And then we're gonna move camera after you tell me where you guys are heading.
He gets in that one, like sloppy noises, like
4! Oh my god!
Yeah.
She like hikes up her shirt.
Oh my god.
Hikes up her shirt.
We got a +2 to Dex, guys. We'll change soon, eventually, but
It is obvious she's immediately applying it, and there's like a like a sigh of relief.
That dramatic, but yeah.
A sigh of relief for sure.
Less hunched walking immediately.
Less immediately able to walk well. Alexandria just narrow her eyes.
I mean, she's not gonna pry because every time she ever brings it up, Valfine shuts down immediately. So
Just observing.
Busy city, side alleyway, probably not the best place to be asking personal questions. So, she noticed. There's no way she didn't, but she's not.
You
gonna bring it up.
underestimate the awkwardness of our group.
We got two of the most awkward characters happen to be walking together in a dark back alley.
I wasn't raised by dwarves. I have at least some tact.
You find out that you're half dwarf.
Well, you did say Valoria is about 4 feet tall, apparently. So
Yeah, you're really short, actually. You dwarf. Where's your beard?
She was, she was crouched down at the time, looking at a lower shelf.
Yeah. Right.
She was 4 feet at the time.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
So yes, she's going to stow it in the pouch on her belt, and she's gonna give kind of a stretch of her shoulder blades, and then turn over toward Valoria, and
Yes, Batman.
I think we're missing a funeral.
Exactly.
So we see you guys heading towards the public bathhouse then?
Yes, we're retconning the Batman voice.
Any other
But,
creepy cat ladies you want to visit, just for the fun of it? I'm willing to put up with any tiger puns.
At this moment, I'm gonna say no.
Oh, I'm gonna have to eat the berry.
So yeah, you guys see the public bathhouse. You see sort of the line of dwarves making their way in and making their way out. You can easily get into said line and shuffle your way into the public bathhouse. As you do, our camera shifts back inside just before Alexandria and Valfine enter into the public bathhouse, which I think will save them entering in for next session, the beginning of next session. Because as we come in to Brolin War and Adric, grandfather Adric, or not Godfather Adric, Adric has gotten some bruise at the very least. He's not sitting in the ice for too long. He'll stay by War, Brolin, if like you want to keep the conversation looped in with War, which actually Adric is very interested in doing. He'll probably like want to have it near War because he's interested in War, being like the only turtle he's seen in a very long time, and he's probably got his feet in on the edge of the pool. Adric does. We could still see we could still see Granny Aunt Pale Shatter was sticking her toes in. At this point, she's fallen asleep, and you can see that like her feet have gone just completely cold, like as ice. You can see the skin's turned blue.
I'd take the freaking feet out of it.
Is that you,
Boris!
my glorious husband? And he
Boris!
and he says, "What? Huh? Oh,
Keep an eye on
Auntie
you.
Pale Shadow. Oh, hey, Jimmy, stay in the water. Wait, don't get out of the water."
He's still drowning, still struggling like to keep
Boris,
an eye on
Boris,
Shin.
look at me.
Huh?
I grab him. I grab his face.
Oh, brother.
Boris, look at me.
Hi.
I need you to just calm down. And I need you to use the 3 brain cells that you possess.
Brother, you making fun of me?
No. I need you to focus. Focus.
Right, I'm focusing.
Alright, focus some more, because I'm not sure.
Jimmy,
Focus.
Jimmy, get out of the water.
Jimmy, I swear to God, get out of the water.
Pull in.
So you're dealing with all of that, and I think we see War and Adric over on the side of the pool, and Adric just
Boris was ever good for anything. He's good for a laugh.
and he pats you on the shell, and he looks at your shell. Isn't your shell decorated, War, in one way or another?
Not entirely. It got painted the day the whole dressing thing happened, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably worn off by now. The paint, it might be chipped and stuff, but the pattern of his shell is probably inherited type thing, but it's still, yeah.
And he'll look to you and sort of look you up and down. And he'll say,
You, I'm sorry if I sound racist. I've been drinking quite a bit, but can't really assume that all turtles know all turtles. Trust me, I know how it is. I get it as a dwarf quite a bit. Most people think I know every dwarf. But you wouldn't happen to know maybe a relative of yours, an old, really old turtle by the name of Waboo?
that's where we end it. right on that. That is where we call it, my friends.
So juicy.
Something to say.
Oh, jeez.
We have to go to. Oh, 2 things have opened up for Brolin.
I keep pinging these locations on you guys. I'm like, ba-boom, kiss a ball, ba-boom. I'm just sticking more points.
You gotta get me Mushrib's initial speech, so I can say it in Brolin's voice, bastardized.
Wait, what? For his initial speech?
You need to get me Mushrib's intro card. So
Oh.
I can read most of it in Brolin.
Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, cool. Very, very cool. All right, well, I'm gonna leave table talk to being private, and I'll let the stream close. Thank you to anybody who listened in. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching this later on, whether it be in Twitch or YouTube, morning, noon, or night, my friends, you have a good one. You keep well. Thank you to my amazing cast. War, Asteria, Alexandria, Brolin, Valfine, played by my good friends. All right, guys, take care.